Where the heck did the phrase dreamboat come from, and why is it in deference to attractive men? Are there females waking up from extensive nautical fantasies and equating it to the perfect partner?
How L. Ron Hubbard of us. What is the most hated ice cream flavor in the world according to a 2021 article in Newsweek? Is it A, Neapolitan, B, chocolate chip foot, C, birthday cake, or D, vitamin B12?
I mean, I'm not trained to stick things up my own tailpipe. What if I put it in the wrong hole?
Oh my, hello. I actually did that once and it didn't go the way I was expecting.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
We are still stuck in the frozen tundra that just will not go away.
I've been wearing double fuzzy socks all week. Yes.
I did notice
Not something that I take lightly.
a few people who always did that, let's wait and see what happens, finally digging out their car today, kind of begrudgingly. I couldn't imagine waiting till today when it's just become a block of ice.
Yeah. I can walk straight across the snow and not sink in because it's just frozen solid. So anyway, let's get started.
So I got my emissions testing notice in the mail this week. The whole idea of scheduling your appointment for an emissions test seems so 1985 at this point. Somehow it feels like shopping for bras in the Sears and Roebuck catalog.
I feel like somewhere there's a dot matrix printer warming up just for this job, especially now that Jiffy Lube stopped using them.
Yeah, finally. Either was that last year?
Seems like the county could just send us something, like a little sensor in an envelope with instructions, like stick this in your tailpipe, and then we could like tell them what a toxic hazard we are via Wi-Fi or something. Like a diabetes strip for the environment.
Not as fun as the colon guard mailing your shit to someone, see a prior episode, but it's up there.
I'm over 45, I realize. Now, don't get me started. Back when they first started making you do emissions testing, my friend the mechanic had this whole ridiculous regimen that you were supposed to go through to like fool the machine. It would be like, you got to drive to the testing center at like 70 miles an hour and blow out anything that is not wanted in your tailpipe, right? Put in high octane gas, and for God's sake, don't idle in line more than 12 and a half minutes. And I have to ask this, how come when you get there to emissions, I don't know whether it's like this in other towns or states, there's always 19 closed lanes. Like they built this enormous facility with all these lanes, but they only have 2 lanes open and there's 47 cars in line in front of you. Like, who are those lanes for?
Some of them have a self-service kiosk, and that scares me. I mean, I'm not trained to stick things up my own tailpipe. I don't even own an orange vest. What if I put it in the wrong hole?
Oh my, hello. I actually did that once and it didn't go the way I was expecting. When the guy finally puts your info into the computer when you come up to the front of the line, you never really know what they're going to charge you because like the thing says $14, but when they put in the late fees, it jumps to triple digits. It's like, oh shit. But of course, it could be worse. I actually think you get the death penalty in California if you're above a certain emissions number. I really do.
True story. Is a carbon footprint on your personal improvement radar? Like, pay off your ATV, get your lowlights touched up, cut out the Doritos and Hostess cupcakes after 5 p.m., and, as a bonus, get the old CFP under 2 tons of CO2 per year.
This is on somebody's bucket list, I'm sure. You think they have this like in other countries like Somalia and Yemen? Those people are thrilled that they just got the Yugo, right? These are places where you can barely see each other across the street through the smog every day. I have a feeling they're not reading Catalytic Weekly. How about other planets? I mean, the dudes from Predator, those guys figured out invisibility. But maybe they're flummoxed by greenhouse gas percentages. A 78 Subaru? What the hell are you?
One of my favorite aspects of the emissions process, at least in my state, there is a spending cap. I'm not sure what brilliant state bureaucrat came up with this part of the requirement.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I think if you spend like $500, they just stamp it as approved. Just go save your receipts, hon.
Just turn in your receipts and they'll be like, you're fine. You can continue to destroy the environment. At least you tried. I mean, imagine this in the real world. Well, the roof does still leak, but I spent like 350 bucks on it. What do you want from me?
Also, pretty sure my leg is still broken, but I did spend 100 on a consultation.
Mind your own business, people. God.
I also wonder how they address the job description to potential candidates. Some poor bastard that works for the county repairing asphalt or something. How do you like a cushy job working inside on a PC all day? One little disadvantage, you'll be choking on vehicle exhaust all day.
What's lung cancer among friends? Also, it must be frustrating to get these harassing notices from the emissions department if part of your drive is to go past these factories on your way to work that are belching pollutants into the air. But your Honda Civic, that's the real problem, and we're focused on it. Want to talk about our feature interview?
Our feature interview this week is with Ginchy, guitarist for the Austin-based punk band The Oxys. It's also the world premiere unveiling of the Oxys' new guitar player, Adrian. So you saw it here first, people.
World premiere. I went online and looked. I didn't see anything. So this is it.
We get into all kinds of spooky goth and serial killer related discussions with these two, as well as an interesting look at the Austin music scene. Plus, there's an unexpected geek out regarding a 90s songwriting gunslinger guru. So stay tuned for that.
A 90s gunslinger guru songwriter. Who could it be? Anyway, let's hear a little of the Oxys. This is Drop of Blood.
The velvet crease, the secret revealed, the deadly promise was unsealed. Gender bent and on the prowl, pierce the vein with your ice cold steel. Murder in a blue world, a forbidden orange. Electroshock expel.
Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/Snaggletooth Podcast. And for $6.66 a month, you get a 1960s asphalt blaster with no turn signals, full of mark and save.
Yeah, we actually did a blooper reel on the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music podcast. We had a Irish group that was fantastic, but we could not pronounce anything.
Last week on Decay was the most difficult name day we've ever had, I think, on the show. In 180 episodes.
It
It was
brutal.
every single, but the thing is, I feel like the fates have smiled on us because this episode, all the names are like Joe Blow. I mean, it's easy. So we're not going to have any more bloopers this week, at least on that. So, but anybody, if you want to check that out, me and Stace trying desperately to sound Irish, head on over there. And for $6.66 a month, you get more market states than you can handle. So, and speaking of more than you can handle,
Oh, God.
this is one hell of an obnoxious trivia. Hit it.
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
I want to go back.
So I went back and listened to an older episode from like last January, which by the way, we were bitching about snow. We
Okay.
didn't know snow back then. That was nothing compared to this. But the obnoxious trivia was so unhinged, I tried to top it. So this one is very, very unhinged. So okay. Number one, obnoxious trivia. Here we go. Episode 33. What is the most hated ice cream flavor in the world according to a 2021 article in Newsweek? Is it A, Neapolitan, B, chocolate chip foot, C, birthday cake, or D, vitamin B12?
The hell walks up to Baskin Robbins and says, "Yeah, I'd like a scoop of vitamin B12."
Okay, which one? Which one is the least popular?
I want to say a Neapolitan just because I knew someone once who got very angry about that because there was strawberry in it.
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. That was the second least favorite.
That's close.
The worst was birthday cake and cake batter. Birthday cake / cake batter. That was the most.
Huge
That was the most hated or least favorite of all. So yeah, chocolate chip foot was not on the list, believe it or not. So
thing.
okay, 0 for 1.
Jeffrey Dahmer's freezer?
All right, number 2. According to the New York Post, which is the least known fact about toenail clippers? A, schizophrenics should never use them.
Yep.
B, the most popular type are made from tungsten. C, the hole in the back is for hanging on your keychain. Or D, they are used for out of control nose hair.
That all sounds ridiculous, so I'll go with B. This sounds the least ridiculous. The most popular ever made from tungsten. Because you should never carry toenail clippers on your keychain, because that implies you're clipping your toenails on the go.
You are incorrect. It is actually C. There was this long article about that people did not know what the hole was in the back. And finally, the reason for the hole in the back of the nail clippers is so that you can hang it on something like your keychain. Yeah.
In case, you're waiting for your doctor's appointment.
When you're sitting there, you got to trim your nose hairs while you're waiting. So there you go.
Ugh.
Okay, number 3. Which of these animals enjoys a steady diet of feathers? A, the Turkish mole rat. B, the great-chested grebe. C, the Eurasian dancing elk. Or D, hamsters.
Well, hamsters are too close to guinea pigs, and we already talked about my guinea pigs, so that was all vegetables. I have no idea what a grebe is. I don't think dancing elks exist. So, I'll go with the Turkish mole rat.
I'm sorry, you're incorrect. It was the great-chested grebe. That's a diving. It's like a duck. It's a diving
Duck with
bird.
feathers?
It eats its own feathers, and here's why. Because it vomits them out, and it makes its stomach tougher to eat crustaceans.
Oh.
It took them forever to figure this out. Why does the grebe eat its own feathers? Well, that's the reason, because it helps their stomach process crustaceans.
Maybe that's why our cats
Interesting.
keep throwing up.
Yeah.
Toughening up their
Okay,
stomachs.
now number 4, and I was going to make all of the questions about this person, but instead I just made it one. Which of these little known facts about Liberace is true? I wanted to make all of it about Liberace.
Watch the movie about his life.
Okay, well, good. Maybe you'll get this one. Okay, because you're 0 for 3 at this point.
Why?
A, he was a collector of exotic candelabra. B, he invented a disappearing toilet. C, 14th Hungarian Rhapsody was his favorite encore. Or D, he worked with the same costume designer as Evel Knievel.
I say D is correct.
You are 0 for 4.
Really? I thought I remembered.
He
something like that.
invented a disappearing toilet. He felt you should never walk into a bathroom and see a toilet. So early in his career, he made one that kind of collapsed into the wall.
Wow.
Yeah. Next week, all the questions are about Liberace.
I did watch that. I don't
They
know.
didn't cover that? This was in an incredibly unreliable source. It was actually, that's the thing. There were so many good Liberace questions that I had one, and then I was like, no, this is better. And then, no, this is better. This is actually the third one.
Wow.
Anyway, all right, well, this has been a very obnoxious trivia. So what'd you think of that one? Now bring back the early Snaggletooth energy with that one.
Yeah, it was definitely difficult. And see, and I thought I knew everything about Liberace because I watched that one show.
But the fact that they left that out makes me question everything about the show. So, anyway, all right, it's time for our Snaggletoon, and this is called
Happy to be nappy. Dreams are these unhinged movies your brain makes to personally hassle you. You are, in fact, your own worst enemy. Finally lie down to rest, and my mind goes, cool, let's excavate every worst case scenario you've ever known. Cue all your monsters waiting to feed.
Nowadays, most adults have had some kind of recurring dream. They show up during real life stress. Sometimes they'll eventually fade or just continue to roll around in the cerebellum like a spin cycle of doom. This raises an important question. If I'm stressed, why doesn't my brain think of a calm, sunny beach or spa day where no one asks me to do math? Why is it always a psychological version of the Saw movie?
I guess there are people that dream about bubblegum and unicorn rides and wake up smiling. I mean, there must be. Think about the phrases we use. Dream job, dream team, pitch me, I'm dreamy, etc. Where the heck did the phrase dreamboat come from, and why is it in deference to attractive men? Are there females waking up from extensive nautical fantasies and equating it to the perfect partner?
How L. Ron Hubbard of us. Personally, I'm envious of people that wake up refreshed and maybe draw a picture of the flux capacitor. Most of my dreams are restless struggles to get around things. Get to a meeting, get to a class, get out of a party I didn't want to be at. I guess the phrase living the obstacle would make more sense in my case. Of course, if you were living the dream, how would you know? How would you know when you were awake and asleep if it's the same?
I have nightmares about waiting tables. Weed dreams. That means I'm trying to move fast, but I'm carrying trays through chest-high pools like I'm catering the Titanic. The roll drawer is empty. Every table is dirty. People are yelling. Sir, this is a double T diner from hell in my subconscious.
The movie Inception got me thinking, is this what other people dream about? Meetings outside coffee shops with exploding flowers and aggressive ATV drives at Ice Station Zebra. I noticed there's a lot of rock and roll songs with dream-related lyrics. In my dreams, dream on, running down a dream. I like the one Dream Police, and not just because I have the record. I would actually like the Dream Police to make an appearance once in a while. Make some arrests, write a few tickets. I guess there's been some departmental budget cuts that I'm not made aware of.
Other recurring classics include falling, being chased through a creepy multi-floor building, flying and then forgetting how to fly, a cell phone that absolutely refuses to function, being naked in public, being late, or taking a test written entirely in ancient curse symbols. All of this torture is brought to you by your very own brain. No outside studio, no refunds. A night terror is way more intense than a nightmare. They wake up everyone in the house, the neighbors, and probably a dog 3 blocks away. They involve sudden waking, crying, screaming, confusion, and occasionally cardio. In my case, my ex-husband once ran out onto the front lawn in the middle of the night yelling about a crashed plane. No plane, no crash, just a confused family and a man on his front lawn in his boxers.
I dreamt I was Dr. Seuss one time. I think that's what it was. Because when I woke up, I said, you can wear camouflage and nobody can see you, but be careful not to get diarrhea. I think I missed my calling in life. Okay, I can't take any more. Let's play a song. This is the Oxys with Long Shadows.
Shadows gone, it's getting dark now. No light can be seen. My heart belongs to the night. Light the gasoline. Feel the pulling crane. Seeping through the cage. Burning on the slave. Control the inner range. Ever growing appetite. Long shadows.
Okay, let's talk about Mark getting another beer and Coffee AM.
Coffee AM is our morning drug of choice. We can't deal without it. We need that caffeine, and Coffee AM makes really great tasting coffees. They're so much better than anything you can even buy at Dunkin' Donuts. So what are you waiting for? Get over to their website. They've got pages and pages of flavors, and everything is great. We have a rainforest crunch upstairs we're going to be getting into shortly. They have many chocolate varieties.
Glad I was able to find this because Opus wasn't very helpful with opening my beer. Reach for the Opus.
Reach for the Opus is not very silly.
Anyway, so
But they've got lots of different fair trade, micro lots, single origin coffees, as well as blends. So whatever you're in the mood for, I guarantee you will find it. Even if you're one of those weirdos that like decaf.
yeah. I think it's funny that we've been doing Coffee AM so much because we have so much, but then we don't even bring it down. So it's just picture a lot of coffee here. That's really what it is. It's just all up in a drawer and we're too lazy to bring it down.
Yep, and they run specials. I took advantage of their buy four, get two free. And all comes FedEx directly to your door. And they don't roast it until you order it. So that's part of why it tastes so great. You can even get your name put on the bag.
And we're the type of people that we're like 6 pounds of coffee. That's fine. We'll burn through that in 6 months, not even. So anyway, yep. So I guess it's time for Collecturbation. And this one, I hadn't thought about this album for a really long time, but I was really glad when I thought of it, and I realized how cool the vinyl is. So this week we're going to talk about Pelican's 2003 full-length debut, Australasia. This is instrumental music, and 3/4 of the audience just left. And you know what? Good riddance. It's going to take me a month and 2 coats of oil-based paint to cover up what you guys did in the den last week. You hooligans. Anyway, It's sort of like being into games, which everyone assumes are video games. And then you indicate that you're actually a big fan of backgammon and Japanese Clue. Your love for strategy and competition are left to fend for themselves because 99% of gamers opt for video games. Of course, most music fans expect their music to not only be sung, but sung in English. Change the language, and the venue goes from MetLife Stadium to Yvonne's Pizzeria. Make it instrumental, and it goes from Yvonne's Pizzeria to a live show in your living room.
For fringe fans of heavy music, I cannot effectively communicate how exciting the first Pelican EP was when it hit back in 2003. The band had tried self-releasing in 2001, but it wasn't until Hydra Head reissued it, basically a metalcore label we knew from Botch and Cave-In EPs,
Yeah, Hydra is a cool name for a label, too.
that took a chance on this odd band from Chicago. Again, all of the review sites in print and on the internet, and maybe 5% of them, gave two shits about reviewing an instrumental album, but mine was one of them. What hooked me was this enormous riff sound the band had conjured that didn't sound like anything else. It was like this gargantuan Lovecraftian beast had been living under a lake, and none of us knew for centuries. The guitars had this jagged, infinitely dark tone to them, like some exotic cooled volcanic lava, and the arrangement of the bass and the drums, with these elephantine guitar sounds, were as distinctive as they were huge. For weirdos like us, the fact that it was instrumental made it seem like it was made just for us to enjoy.
When this full length was finally released, I was all over it. Couldn't wait for these sweeping dramatic tones, the crushing variations in the riffs, and the stutter stepping percussion, all brought to the next level. 6 songs, 4 of them over 8 minutes long. I couldn't wait to hear it. And I remember when I sat through the mammoth 11-plus minute opener night and day for the first time, and I sort of started to panic because it was heavy, yes, full of crescendos for sure. The drummer, Larry Herwig, put in an exhaustive performance, but it sounded to me like they never really hit that fifth gear in the first song. That sort of chest thumping subsonic rip tone. It was like Haagen-Dazs for the eardrums. Of course, I learned to love that one over the years, particularly the interplay between the clean guitars and the percussion that heats up around the 9 minute mark. Then the second track, Drought, sort of slinks out of the speakers, and there's no looking back from this point. Slow, deliberate, crunchy as all get out, with absolutely soaring interplay between guitarists Trevor DeBraw and Lawrence Schroeder Lebec. And it creates that atmosphere where you were actually say to yourself, God, this rules, and we're only 3 minutes in. Knowing that they're going to take us on some cosmic, volcanic, subsonic roller coaster ride, which of course they do. The song showcases some of the coolest and most unusual uses of harmonies I've ever experienced, and the variation in tempo that isn't shackled to repeat itself like vocal driven metal is one of the main draws. Let's crush it with a little bit of drought.
It may sound like a Slaughter song title, but Angel Tears is another ultra-heavy, cinematic joyride that builds tension unhurriedly and deliciously in the form of slashing downstrokes juxtaposed against hooky pings. The tempo slowing unexpectedly like a massive caravan, stopping to pick up passengers along the way. It just gets better and better, picking up more and more layers of sonic plundering and pushing into new tempos that really blossoms around the 8 minute mark. Just so all the guitars can play hide and seek with Herwig's double bass workout, trampling all of us under hoof. The untitled cut is a welcome palate cleanser, built on the naked beauty of two clean guitars, intertwining melodies. In a lot of ways, the crescendo this one builds is no less interesting than the heavier tracks, and there's even a little tomfoolery with dissonance adding spice to this chilling seg. From the very first 1,000 decibel crunch of the closer, Australasia, there is zero doubt whatsoever that this is the album's centerpiece, the finale, the big enchilada we've all been waiting for that's going to knock us for a loop. It does not disappoint. trudging through slow tempo dirges for the first couple of minutes and revealing the first few chugs of the album's best riff that toys with us as guitars swoon and wail. We're not ready to fully immerse ourselves in this riff, and the band knows it somehow.
Around 4 minutes in, we're back to mellow, clean acoustics chiming playfully until the bazillion layered riff crunch returns, then exits, returns, exits, pushing us and pulling us to and fro between crunching metal and pensive guitar workouts until the band pulls out everything but the kitchen sink to close things out with the gorgeous guitar sounds and intense percussion at the end. True story, I discovered Pelican back in 2003, and I was so taken with them that I mentioned them, like an idiot, to a friend that wrote for a competitive magazine how much I enjoyed them. This was on a Friday. By Monday, his webzine had reviewed the album and posted a lengthy interview. He must have scored it the day after I tipped him off. I believe it was their first online interview, and I felt like they had just been snatched away from me. I was pissed. So what happened to the guy that pulled such a dick move? Well, I eventually tricked him into praising crap like Crash Romeo and Coheed and Cambria. Then he started dating this woman, stopped reviewing music, sold all his classic vinyl so they could open a daycare center together. It failed, of course, and they divorced soon after that. I think he works at Boscov's now, like in the window shade department or something. And I've still not gotten over it. So let's play a clip of Australasia. Okay, what you're seeing interview?
Really loved casting pearls before swine. We had lots of burning, itching questions that only Ginchy could answer. You can tell talking to him what a great seasoned musician that he is. And I do believe that this band is really going places.
He was totally different than I expected. I thought he was going to be one of these Johnny Thunders heroin types for some reason. And actually, when the more I talked to him, the more I thought, oh, they wouldn't have let us sit together in school. We would have been on opposite ends. So
Yeah,
anyway,
the kind
take
of guy you get in trouble with.
I would get in trouble with, we'd have some very bad ideas together. Anyway, take it away. So the band name, the Oxys. So is it meant to feel uh, essential like oxygen, or is it numbing and addictive like oxycodone, or something else entirely?
Or both.
Or both, or all of the above.
I don't know. You guys have already put more thought into our band name than I have. Really what it was about was, we were trying to come up with a band name when we first started this. And I think I was watching a commercial on television or something, and they mentioned something about Oxy, this or other. And I'm like, oh, the Oxys, that's it. That's the band name. And I shot it over to Phil, our singer. And really, for lack of better band names, we went with that.
Cool.
It's hard to name your fucking band, right?
Yeah.
They're all
Yeah,
like
I know.
they're all taken, and so yeah,
Seems that way.
that's what we did. That's what we went with.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good. We always hate the one word, like, because like you name your band Tower, that sounds great, but as soon as you Google it, and everything but not you comes
Yeah.
up.
Google ability is very important.
Well,
Yeah.
I also try to name my band like I do my dog, 2 syllables, keep it simple, just so when I say the band's name, everyone can remember it and get it.
Yeah,
I like
it
it.
works for me. Yeah.
So you guys were kind of started like a pandemic project, which I guess a lot of us started projects then, because Lord, what did you do?
Right.
At the time, did you think it was just a passing thing, or did you have an inkling that you were onto something here?
No, it was a total accidental pregnancy. So me and Phil did this thing in Austin every year. It's called Punk Rock Lottery. Musicians all come together. They draw names out of a hat and form bands with people who've never played with each other before. And
Cool.
you get a month, you write 4 originals, do a cover, and then everybody gets together at a club and there's 3 stages and everybody performs and they have a panel of judges, whatever. So Phil was assigned to my band. He was a singer. I gave him some songs. he shot me back some vocals, and I was like, oh, I like this. This is great. And so we did the punk rock lottery, but then I kept bouncing songs off of them, and we just kept writing. And we wrote a ton of songs actually. And then we were just like, well, we have more than enough stuff. Let's put together a record here and just put it out. Because it was the pandemic. We were locked in our houses. We didn't have anything else better to do. We were
Yeah.
all depressed as hell. So we were just making music to keep smiles on our faces.
Yeah. That's cool.
For your own personal experience, what were some of the weirdest experience or things you saw during the pandemic around you?
I don't know. I've totally repressed that period because it was a dark
Yeah.
time for me.
Yeah.
I did not care for that time, and I don't
Yeah.
really want to revisit that ever.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It was some crazy stuff.
I mean, I'll take some more of those stimulus checks and all, but as far as the pandemic, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, see, that didn't even work out for me because I went to go do my taxes and they said that I got stimulus checks and that I owed them money and I didn't. So I lost all the way around and there was like no way to prove it or argue it. So
So they actually took more money from you.
they ended up taking more money, right?
Oh,
So
burned. That
I know,
sucks.
I really sucked, yeah. So
So I know you recently parted ways with Holly, amicably, but I heard you have a new guitar player. Could this be him by you?
This is, and he's over here, and we're working on some guitar stuff tonight. So
okay.
this is Adrian. Adrian.
Okay.
How's it going, guys?
Your world premiere, Adrian. Look at that.
Right?
So kind of tell how you kind of came to be in the band and what your kind of backstory is.
So I've known Jason for what is it, couple of years, maybe before the pandemic. Maybe
Pre-pandemic. We're pre-pandemic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I've known Jason, and oddly enough, I've been following the Oxys for quite some time. I don't know if you remember this, but maybe about 2 years ago, I asked Jason if he ever needed like a fill-in or another guitar player, I would be the guy. I was interested, and yeah, oddly enough, I got the call. He asked me if I wanted to do it. I was free at the time, and yeah, I'm just really enjoying this. Really
That's great.
down my alley as far as the musical influences that we both share. Very similar. That always helps, with the whole songwriting process and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely came to more shows than anybody, so he had first dibs.
Okay. It's important, yeah.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah,
Got to be a fan if you want to be in the band.
right.
That's right.
I've heard that story on more than one occasion that, somebody
Number one fan became
yeah,
part of the band. Yeah.
because they already know everything. They already know the moves. They know the lyrics. They know the songs. Perfect click. But
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's a little nerve-wracking. I mean, I had some reservations about it. I'm like, well, the guy is a better guitar player than me. Do I really want to make this move? But I'm like, fuck it. I like a good challenge. Maybe I'll get better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
don't know about that. I
Yeah.
appreciate it, but
You could be his Marty Friedman. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
so the Oxys really feel rooted in that New York Dolls, East Coast rock and roll DNA from past projects that you've been involved in. Thinking back, which band really helped you cut your punk rock teeth early on?
I mean, that's a pretty easy one for me. When I look back in my childhood, there are two punk rock albums that uh, really got me started, and that would be Nevermind the Bollocks, Sex Pistols, of course. Like to me, I don't even know if I consider that a punk album. It's a rock and roll album with a real snotty singer. Love that. And Circle Jerks Group Sex was another one.
Yeah.
I got that cassette tape off a friend when I was in junior high. And of course, I'm in junior high. I'm like, I was the first coming of Beavis and Butthead. So I'm like, oh, group sex. All right. Yeah. How can I go wrong here? So yeah, I remember that cassette had the full length album on both sides.
Yeah.
So I would just sit there and play one side, flip it over, listen to it again, and just over and over and over, until I wore it out.
It's fantastic. Like I remember getting drunk one night with some friends and we did like kind of, I think it was because March Madness was going on and we didn't give a shit about that. So we started doing punk rock March Madness. And Group Sex was like undefeated. It defeated Discharge. It defeated everything. It just kept moving up. It defeated the
Yeah.
Necros. It defeated the Accused. It just kept going up. We got too drunk to finish it, but yeah, it was undefeated. So all
Yeah.
what 13 minutes of it or whatever, you know. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's a short banger for sure.
it
But I
sure
mean
is.
that's part of the inspiration too. It's like hit hard quick and then you're out of there, you know? And like I
Yeah,
don't want to hear an album longer than 30 minutes ever.
yeah, yeah. They were shit hot when they made that record. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I always love how a certain amount of doo-wop is still snuck in there a little bit here and there.
Oh, for like the New York stuff, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
it's really cool, and I can hear a little bit of that in your sound as well. Do you think you consciously hold on to that, or it's just a part of your sound?
It's a conscious thing, you know. It's just ingrained in you because when you know, we're working on tracking a new record right now, and whenever I'm writing songs, I don't listen to other music. I don't listen to music when I write
Right.
songs. Like, I don't listen to other music because I don't want that to sneak in to whatever album I'm working on, you know, just because I've been listening to it for the last 2 months or something. So when I write music, I don't listen to other music.
Yeah.
So really
Yeah.
what comes out is everything that's ingrained in me from the past.
Yeah.
I like it.
Nope. Yeah.
So for this one, for the title, you went all biblical on our asses. I like it.
Oh yeah.
I was shocked that that was actually attributed to Jesus when I looked at it. I was like, really? There were swine and pearls back then? I had no idea.
Yeah, we thought it sounded like somebody in like 18th century England kind of threw that into the Bible, but then we did some research and found out, hey, they actually did have swines and pearls back then. So, yeah.
Where did you first hear the phrase, and is it a comment kind of on your art being underappreciated, or is there another meaning behind it?
Yeah, that's definitely where it came from. I'm like, all right, Phil, we're gonna write a real kick-ass record and no one's gonna give a shit. And so with that whole like concept in mind, that's where it came from. You know, and I mean, I think I've heard my wife say, I got it from my wife is where I got the phrase from. I mean, I'd heard it before, but she had said it recently, and then the two pieces kind of came together. You know, my concept and that idea, and I'm like, yeah, that's great. Let's do it.
I also love the band shot album cover. Do you think your band kind of unspoken or maybe it's spoken uniform is the black, white, and red?
Um, no, not really. I mean, we don't really dress up for the band or anything like that. I wear the same thing when I mow my yard, so it's
Okay, yeah.
not really. Yeah, that's kind of how everyone is. If you catch anyone in this band on any given day, that's just kind of their look. It's not really we don't sit down and powwow about what we're gonna wear or anything, I guess.
Don't go into hair and makeup before the show.
No, no. And now I will tell you this. The album art was done in such a manner. We actually were working with a girl here in town, Mitty Solis, and she kind of directed us on like, well, she didn't really direct us on anything. We showed up in the clothes we were going to wear, and she looked us over and made sure that it was going to work. And
Yeah.
we didn't really make any changes. We just kind of had a consultant there on hand to pat us on the back, I guess.
How many photos were taken that you got to pick from?
Um, I mean, there were a lot of photographs taken, and we could have used any of them really. Um, yeah, I don't know. There were several we could have used out of that session, but
That's great. You're wearing the Too Fast for Love handcuff pants to go to the dentist. I love it. That's the
yeah,
true
yeah,
rock
yeah.
and roll. That's it, you know.
Really putting out the vibe for the dentist, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, why wouldn't I wear these? What's the problem? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Austin's kind of seemed like it's kind of become like the arts capital of the South in a lot of ways.
Yeah, at least
At least
Southwest.
yeah,
Yeah.
for the US, especially from a rock and roll standpoint. What's the punk glam scene like in Austin these days?
Okay, well, first, I would disagree with everything you just said about this city.
Okay.
Uh, it's this scene is really weird here. I mean, I can't really think of another band really in this town that's playing rock and roll like us, number one.
Okay.
Most of the punk bands in this town reject us. You know, we don't wear mohawks, we don't have studs. I personally don't really identify as a punk or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's a whole different clique that we're not really a part of. But at the same time, we don't really fit in that like hipster indie scene either. So I mean, I would say we're kind of out in no man's land in Austin. We just got nominated for Best Punk Band in the Austin Chronicle, which
Okay.
absolutely shocked me. Like I saw, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This
Yeah.
like we put out three albums, the Chronicle won't touch it. They nothing, you know. They're just like,
Right.
who? That band? What?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we get nominated. So I was shocked. I mean, I'm thrilled and I'm honored, whatever, but I was surprised by that.
It's we do two shows, right? So we have this show for rock and roll, and then we have another show where we do more extreme metal. And this show, it's we have to be so careful with the bands because there are just so many out there that are just they want to get in the new Cream magazine, which is all Pitchfork guys. And they want to get that, you know, we look like Big Black circa 1987, but not shellac. You know what I mean? It's just so they only have three singles, but they have a huge social media presence. Like to find like bands like yours that are actual genuine to a type of music that we like, it takes a lot of research because there's just so much, like you said, in the Austin scene, there's just so much indie crap that we have to cycle through.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And like you said, the whole magazine, the whole Big Black or whatever, Shellac or whatever bands you're talking about. Like I hear all that. I hear some of that influence, but the thing about some of these bands, they're young kids. They didn't grow up on Big Black. They didn't
Right.
grow up on Shellac. So without a doubt, you're going to hear some band that has that influence, but then you're going to hear Nirvana too. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Like the stuff they're younger and the stuff they grew up on wasn't that. And somehow that all gets smeared together and it's not very dangerous or interesting to me.
Right, like those bands, they weren't popular, but they were about the sound. Whereas I see these bands, and it's like they're trying to capture some kind of abstract style from it. Because, like you said, they didn't live through it, but they're just hoping that if they can just get that right look, then they'll get more Spotify listeners or whatever the hell. And it's
Yeah.
just we have to be. It's easy with the death metal show because nobody's making any money on that. No one's trying to get on the cover of any magazine on that. So it's just
Yeah.
everything's full albums. There's none of this. Just I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a lot more posturing going on with rock and roll. I guess it's the way it is. So
Don't get me wrong. There's some really great bands in Austin. You guys have probably seen Die Spitz. They're all the rage down here right now. And there's Gus Baldwin and the Sketch do really well. Of course, we have Riverboat Gamblers who
oh yeah, yeah,
a great band. All their offshoot bands are great. Um, so yeah, there are some really good bands, and there's bands that aren't necessarily what I'm into that are really great too. So you have some really really good stuff here, but you also have an abundance of not so great stuff, and it seems like there's a lot of that going on all the time. When you hear about music around the clock 24/7 down here, sure, yeah, there's bands playing every night.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. There's got to be
If you
some
want
good, right? Like
Yeah, there is.
there's a band that we really like from Austin called Transit Method, and you would never know to see them, but they sound like Voivod, like circa 1989 or something. It's
Oh
two
yeah,
brothers.
the
Yeah.
guitar player in that band's great. I know that kid.
Yeah, yeah. So I
He's
mean,
super
there is
talented.
some good there. I know. Yeah. So
Yeah, he's super talented. He sings and does it all. He's got another band. I can't remember the
yeah,
name. I think it's his last name is the name of the band. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we
So there
played with
is some good. Yeah.
We played with Transit Method last year at South by at the Stoner. They have a Stoner Jam every year.
Oh,
We're not really a
nice.
Stoner band, but we know all the guys, so we play.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, that's cool then. You can know those guys. Cool. All right. Yeah.
So, did you feel like the inspirations for casting Pearls Before Swine were the same or different from Generation Irrelevant, or kind of where you pulled your themes from?
It just depends who's writing the lyrics for the song, if it's Phil or if it's me. We have different writing perspectives, and if you know our perspectives, you can identify who wrote the song uh based on what you're hearing. This album was pretty dark though. There's a lot of songs about killing and serial killers on this album.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's got some darker vibes, and then a lot of interpersonal stuff from Phil, coming out of Phil with
Yeah,
experiences in his life.
I was definitely gonna say there are times when I'm listening to you guys, I'm like, this is almost goth rock with the darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was
Well,
great. Yeah.
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 well, yeah. I mean that's interesting you say that because like me and Phil are huge like Christian Death, 45 Grave fans,
Yeah.
um, and we like Killing Joke. We're big on, just a bunch of the darker sounding bands. The Cult, I guess early Cult, Southern Death Cult, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
The Cure. We embrace all that, like all of that style. So I'm sure it comes through in our music. Wait until you hear the next record. It's got even more of that.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of got an Unto Others vibe from you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
They
saw them live this year at Maryland Death Fest. Wow.
talk about they're like the reincarnated Thin Lizzy or whatever when they play live. Wow. Yeah. I mean, they got the retro thing down, that band. Whew.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Big time.
The
Well, that's cool. I mean, we were really drawn to your subject matter because I mean, you can't write every song about like lipstick on the mirror and stuff. You gotta expand it out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
So we had a few kind of track specific questions. I love Mr. Softy. You have to admit, a guy, in a van luring kids to his car it's always some level creepy. It kind of makes me think of Hansel and Gretel for some reason. Um, was that famously inspired by the guy, Robert Prong, the army veteran who kind of had the Mr. Softy truck that went around and cased his targets, or something else entirely?
It was something else entirely. So
The Iceman, right?
yeah, yeah. So the Iceman, the killer for the mob,
Ah,
right?
Yeah.
So I was watching something about him. I think there's a documentary maybe I was watching or whatever. But when he went to court, when he was accused for all the crimes, he told all these crazy stories, and he said that he learned to kill from a Mr. Softy driver in New Jersey,
Oh,
right? So he said he's somehow connected with another killer before he ever started killing anyone. And this guy
wow.
basically taught him how to kill people. And it was
Wow.
because he was a killer himself, and he happened to be a Mr. Softy truck driver in New Jersey, I believe it was. But the odd thing about it is, no one was ever able to connect the dots on that one. Like it's a
Yeah.
story he told, but there was no verification or of anything. But that's what inspired that song. I mean, I just happened to be sitting there one day watching this shit and like,
Yeah.
okay, here we go.
was that actual ice cream truck music sampled in there?
Um, I'm gonna have to take the fifth on that.
It seems like whenever we're out jogging, there's some ice cream truck stalking us. I'm like, we're running. We don't want ice cream right now.
Isn't the song that they play on the ice cream? Isn't it called like Entering the Gladiators or something? It's
Yeah,
got
that's weird.
some crazy title and it's the ice cream song. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy in our neighborhood that actually has a really old vintage Mr. Softy truck. And I
Yeah.
took a picture of him one day. I'm like, I got that number. I should call that guy and we should just shoot a video. But yeah, we never did it. I mean,
Yeah.
suppose maybe we could. We did a couple videos for this album.
Those damn serial killers, they screwed up the best distribution of illegal drugs anyone could ever think of, with the ice cream vans. I mean, obviously there was some ice cream sold too, but come on.
Yeah, Cheech and Chong, right?
That's
Yeah. On a lighter note, what's your favorite order from the ice cream truck?
My favorite order. Man, I'm a big sucker for the orange vanilla swirl.
Oh yeah.
The
Mm.
dreamsicles and that stuff. Like I'm really into that for sure.
Any votes from the other
The,
party
the new
here?
guitar player, yes.
Um, yeah, I'm not honestly, I'm not really a big fan of ice cream. I can't even recall the last time I ate ice cream. I was a kid probably, but I'd probably say one of the many cartoon character ice creams, but
Yeah.
I guess
Mm.
he's gonna miss out on our ice cream socials after our shows.
That's a shame. That's
That's
a
too
shame.
bad.
That's too bad.
Oh, just give him a lactose intolerance, he'll be okay.
Yeah,
There we go.
exactly. Yeah.
So was it surprising to discover a serial killer in the family with Great Uncle Joe? Were you surprised by that, or
Yeah,
has it always been kind of family stories passed down?
I didn't know about that up front until the song came out, and you know, I, all I could think is, wow, wow, Jason, you better watch the way you talk to Phil. He
Yeah.
might end up concrete shoes at the bottom of the lake or something. Yeah, I was a little nerve-wracking at first. I mean, I was always looking over my shoulder and really checking Phil out. Like, does this guy got it together, or we got a loose cannon in the band? Like, I don't know. I started
Yeah.
paying a little bit more attention to his actions.
Is he raising alligators? I don't know.
Well, I mean, we get so many bios, and I kind of glazed over yours the first time. And I was like, okay, serial killer, right? And then I read it again. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. He's related to the guy. Holy shit, like that's a first, for us at least. So,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
when I told our publicist that story, she was like, "Oh, you're on to something here." Like
Exactly, yeah. You're the
so
only one
that
that we've had like that I can think of.
that
So,
that's why
yeah.
we did the video for the song because she's just like,
Yeah.
in all my years, I've never heard this story before. So she's
Yeah.
like, "I think we can use this to pitch." I'm like, "All right,
Oh
great."
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, in your opinion, do you think serial killers, is it in their DNA or is it nurture or some combination of both?
Um, maybe a combination there. I think there's a little bit of both involved. I think you can be nurtured, but I think in order to pull it off, you got to have a little of that in your blood.
I'm gonna say it's the moms. It's the moms. Yeah.
95% of the time it is for
It's
sure.
the
It's
moms. Yeah.
mommy
So
issues.
Super overbearing moms and absent dad tends to be.
yeah, like if I ever get committed and they take away my shoelaces, I'm gonna be like, can I have them except when I'm on the phone with my mom? Then you can take them away from me.
Yeah, yeah, oh
Yeah.
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 Yeah, feel that one.
yeah,
Totally, yeah.
it's always crazy how I mean everyone's crazy, but the real crazies are the ones that we think they're normal.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's like I saw what is it, the John Wayne Gacy
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
document.
Oh yeah.
Man, yeah, that's insane.
I work for a doctor and we have all kinds of crazy people come in. Literally, we have two sisters who wear tinfoil hats and they bring
Sure.
paper bags to sit on because
That's right.
they're
Yeah.
afraid of lice. And
Yep.
it's great. But I would trust them before I trust a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
fair.
They're good crazy. So another one, I love Demons. You dropped that nod to Steve McQueen. He's popped all over rock history from Crow had Steve McQueen to Queen themselves, Rolling Stones. In your opinion, what makes Steve McQueen such perfect rock and roll fodder?
I mean, I just think I think most rock and rollers are probably envious of the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just envy, all it is. It's like, a lot of people walk around, they look at people, oh, he's in a band, he's cool, this, that. It's like, guys in bands look at Steve McQueen and they're like, "Oh, that guy's fucking cool." You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
He's from an era.
definitely
Yeah. He's part of an
uh,
era for sure.
cut from a different cloth than most, you know.
I mean, he's like the Steven Tyler of cinema. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just
I know.
Your
I'm
live
glad.
shows,
I'm
go
glad
ahead,
you picked up on the Steve McQueen thing, though. It's
instantly.
good to know people listen to the lyrics. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that caught my attention right away. I was like, wow, love Steve. So like unto others, your live shows are legendary for being explosive. What's the most unpredictable thing that you guys have ever had happen on stage?
Mm, well, I mean, honestly, it's kind of a notorious story, but we had a former member lose her top, a couple times on stage, and that was a real showstopper, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, right?
A
Yeah.
wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah.
Wardrobe malfunction, yes, it
Yeah.
was a wardrobe malfunction.
I think after the first time, I'd have to go with black electrical tape underneath, do the Wendy O just in case.
I mean, that's kind of the drill, I thought, but I guess I was wrong.
Well, at least what book were you reading? It was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. When they were starting out, they were playing they got this job at a bar and they didn't realize till they started playing that the girls were coming up and taking their clothes off, that it was in fact a strip club.
Yeah. They,
Oh, okay, well, there
yeah.
you
They
go.
just looked over and there it was. So,
Yeah,
coming of age.
the strip clubs in this town don't have bands. I mean,
Oh,
I
really?
guess I guess it's because they like to make money, but uh,
Yeah.
Probably.
that's the obvious.
Yeah. Well, this was like late 70s Florida, like southern Florida. So they got this gig and they were wondering what the girls were there for. And then all of a sudden they knew. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Um,
Interesting, huh? So who in the band kind of completely changes personalities on the stage, where their stage persona and their offstage persona are completely different, or is there no one in your band like that?
No, I don't. There's no one really in the band like that. I mean, it's pretty genuine.
Right.
What you see is what you get. There's not any act going on.
That's awesome. That's another
I
really
mean, they're
good
wearing
thing.
leather pants to the dentist. I mean, we already covered this. So, yeah.
Also,
Good.
a favorite track was Idiot Box, which is a great, God, I think that goes all the way back to the 1950s, slang for television. Did that come from somebody's parents? Because I remember my dad calling the TV that.
Oh, when I was younger, I heard it thrown around by grandparents, and my mom would throw it around. So yeah, Idiot Box was uh it's definitely an old term, and I'm big on the old terms. I get heckled all the time because I can't think of one right off the top of my head, but I'll say something, they'll be like, they're like, "Stop showing your age. I haven't heard that term since 1978." And I love those terms, but with the how our society uses cell phones, laptops, and all the electronics now. I mean. I work in downtown Austin and people will just walk into me all the time. It's because they're staring at their
Yep.
phone. And that's just where the concept came from. It's like, it's the new idiot box, basically.
Mm.
What do you think, in your opinion, is kind of one of the dumbest stuff on TV right now, whether it be a game show or reality shows or Masked Singer or whatever the hell that is?
The dumbest thing on TV, I'm the wrong person to ask. I don't watch television.
Mm.
I've been watching the Billy Bob Thornton series, Landman.
Oh, is that good?
It started off really great. I'm in season 2. I'm current with the seasons, and the last 3 episodes have been kind of weak. But it was good. The first season's really good.
He's always my favorite Christmas movie. I always got to put on Bad Santa
Oh, of
every
course.
year.
Yeah.
So I thought yeah, we talked about trying that. So now that Stranger Things is done, we can move on.
Well, the thing is, like, with certain sports events on TV, like, for example, when we watch NFL playoffs or Super Bowl or whatever, I'll get a blast of what is on regular TV,
Yeah.
and I'm like horrified. Like, I can't believe I'm like, who's actually watching this? Like whatever they're like this game show with Rob Lowe hosting where you have to get on a Ferris wheel or like I'm just horrified. I'm like, who doesn't have any other options that they have to watch this shit? It's shocking. It just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, I mean, if I do watch TV, it's usually like reruns of The Jeffersons or Three's Company. Like the early 80s sitcoms.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll watch that stuff, but I don't really watch anything current.
well, yeah, I mean, well, it's different. Like when I was growing up, we had three stations, so they really had us. We really didn't have a choice. We watched a lot of crap because it's all there was. Like the
Right.
TV guide would come, and we would think, "Oh, this is going to be really good," and it would not be. But I mean, now you've got so many options. I don't know why they even bother. So I, I don't know
Thanks
who's
for
watching
taking
it.
me. Thanks for taking me back to my great grandma's house. You just describe it because I'd always go over there as a kid and I'd be like, Mom, she's got TV Guide. Look at this thing. My mom's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
You don't need that, babe. We only got three channels. So
yeah. My grandmother was so religious that like we would have trouble getting like a UHF station, and I'd be back there fiddling with the rabbit ears. She would put like holy water. I'd feel water. She'd put holy water on my head, I guess, to help the gods of channel reception. You know, like is my hair wet all of a sudden? Yeah,
so
crazy.
you guys are in Baltimore, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you guys got some good bands out there, yeah?
We like a lot of the Doom bands from out here. Like we go to Maryland Doom Fest every year. A lot of the bands that we like from Baltimore Doom. So
Although last year when we went, it was a band from Las Vegas that blew
that's
us
right.
away called Sonolith. They were great, and they're all instrumental. But it's
Yeah.
the only band I've ever seen where halfway through their set they all changed instruments and tuning, and it was like a NASCAR event. It was like boom, 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 boom. I was like, oh
It
my
was
God.
really cool.
No,
Yeah.
I like Ravagers. My favorite Baltimore band is probably Kicks.
Oh
Yes,
yeah. Yeah.
I love Kicks.
Yeah, we
Ronnie.
had Ronnie on the show a couple years ago, and he told us that like during when they were making Midnight Dynamite, the
Yeah,
producer Bo Hill, legendary producer, he didn't think he was good enough to play. He sent him for lessons while they were recording. Isn't that
you're
crazy?
kidding.
Can you imagine? He didn't
He's
think Ronnie
such a
Younkins was a good enough player, so he sent him for fucking lessons while they were recording, I think, Midnight Dynamite. Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy
Anyway.
rips. When I was a young teenager, I saw Kicks on the Blow My Fuse tour, and they opened up for Rat, and
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
they blew
Yeah.
Rat away. They blew him away. They were
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're old school Kicks fans. We used to go.
Yeah, we used to go to Hammerjacks. Like
Yeah.
it was general admission. So, but that was back when you could just sit outside. We would sit out there all day just so we could get up front
Yeah.
and
It's
go,
the rite of
it was
passage.
like Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. We were there. It was crazy.
Is
Totally.
is
Yeah.
Hammer Jacks is still open, isn't it?
It's
Well,
changed.
they redid it. They have kind of a Starbucksy one now. So they kind of, it's
Okay.
not the original one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'll tell you what, I mean, full disclosure, I hated going there. Like when it was popular, I could never see well. Like I saw Caius there and I couldn't fucking see. And there was always drama in the parking lot. So I mean, some of that Hammerjack's lore is lore.
Well, that's why we sat outside because if you got upstairs and I got right on that rail, you could see down and I'm short, so that's why we sat
Yeah.
outside all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw somebody had trouble and like the drummer got locked out of the building. They
Oh
wouldn't
my
let him
God.
back in. I mean, anyway, yeah. So Hammerjack's like any other place. It had its ups and downs. So yeah.
And Crack the Sky. We're a big Crack the Sky.
Well, obviously, yeah. Crack this guy.
How did the video shoot go for the Idiot Box? I was afraid you guys were going to get a ticket for having people in a flatbed.
It's Texas. We can still pull that off here. Yeah, that video was shot at a friend's house. She's very vintagey type of individual, and her house is reflects that. Yeah, I called her one day and just asked her if we could shoot the Idiot Box video over there. So the scene where the family's on the couch and everything, that was shot at her house. And then uh our bass player has a salon called Vinyl Beauty Bar. where they sell records, but it's also a salon, and they also have live music in there. So we just set up on the floor of the salon and played, and they shot it, put it together.
I loved the chickens running around too. That was the
They're free
Oh yeah,
range.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Texas, though. You see that everywhere.
Yeah.
we I wanted to get chickens during the pandemic, but then I found out we don't have enough property because the neighbors do, but they have like twice the yard that we do. I was like, damn it.
Right. It's acreage driven. Right.
Now,
Interesting.
is that a city ordinance or?
I think it
We're
is.
we're we're in Baltimore County, so we're right
Yeah.
outside the city. So yeah,
Okay,
it's
These are the very important rules that you need to know, you know.
very
How
important.
many acres do we need to get chickens, you know?
I found out you could order like chickens and chicks on Amazon. I was ready.
Really?
Yeah, live chicks that can
Well, I mean,
deliver you live.
you being on the back of a pickup truck, when I saw the video, it took me back to remember when Doc and had that video where they're just on a flatbed? Like that's the whole
Yeah.
video. And
Oh,
like
it's love.
it was I remember like it was in the
Yeah.
80s, like we would go down to the beach and it was always that same video. And even then I was like, what's the idea for the video? We're on a truck? I don't know. And like that was enough. They probably spent $1 million on it.
Yeah, our drummer has like an 85 Chevy truck that he
Yeah,
cruises,
yeah.
you know? So he just drove it over the house, and we're like, oh yeah, let's just start it in the back of there and whatever.
Well, the videos now are so much better because the bands put effort into them and, you know, there's a DIY side of it and stuff. Back then it was just like, you know, they spent $1 million and they didn't have to have a concept and it was just like, hey,
No,
we're on a truck, you know. So
that's exactly how it is. Like none of our videos cost more than $200 to film, you know? So it's like,
yeah.
oh, these guys are on a low budget. Let's see what kind of shit they're gonna come up with now. You
But
know,
they
that's
but I mean
interesting.
we've seen so many great videos like a lot of the especially like a lot of the punk and indie bands, they're so creative with limited budgets. It's actually entertaining to
Right.
watch.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so it's really in my as an art form, I think it's gotten a lot better despite the lack of funds, you know. So, yeah. Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
So I have to ask about that video. What was the booze out of the bottle slash banana connection?
Just random objects laying around, you know. We didn't have no money to go out and, you know, there was
Wait,
there was no band buffet back off set, you know what I'm saying? We were just grabbing shit off the counter. None of that was set there for a reason.
I'm sitting there thinking, wait, they need the potassium for the Jack Daniels. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, so what's your take on the death of MTV? Speaking of idiot boxes, I mean, back when I was growing up, you every party it was on, it was, you didn't care if you watched the same video that came up every hour on the hour, you watched it again, and now it's done. Do you think it has any impact, or was it time for it to die?
Well, I mean, when they started getting away from the music is when it
Yeah.
was time for it to die, and that happened a long time ago. I mean, I was a kid when it came out, you know. I remember watching Twisted Sister Halloween concerts in 1984 on MTV, and
Mm.
every kid in the school was waiting on that, you know. It was a big deal. Um, and back then too, we didn't have the internet, so you were only turned on to a small amount of bands, right? Like you got your hit
Mm.
paraders, your Rit magazines, and things like that. And you were turned, you know, the media turned you on to a certain amount of bands. You weren't turned on to indie bands everywhere. Like now with
Mm.
the internet, people are turned on to so many different things. Like it's really weird. Like even the clicks are more specialized and smaller. It
Mm.
seems like to me because everyone's splintered out going different directions. It's the same thing with television. Like we were talking about, everybody had three channels back then.
Mm.
Everybody's watching the same thing. And now that's all opened up now with the internet, you know, with music. So,
But there's like no filter for it. So, you know, it's like everybody has a mic now. So it's really hard to figure out what's good and what's not, you know.
There's so many options, and that sometimes
Yeah.
is also not a good thing.
Yeah. It's a lot like I didn't, not that it was good with the labels and all, but at least there was some kind of quality control. Now you kind of have to really, well, you have to watch a music podcast to figure out what's good or what's not.
So another one I really loved, also with a dark twist, was Toe Tag Lovers. It's super gothic. It almost has a cinematic feel to it.
Okay.
I was like, is that a Misfit song? I mean, you know,
You know, I don't remember how that song came about. I think maybe I think I wrote the chorus for that one and filled in the blanks on the verses maybe, but it was kind of spawned. I had to do a continuing education thing back in 2008 where I went and had to observe an autopsy.
Oh God.
And when I did that, they took me down to the Santa Clara morgue in San Jose. And it they're just basically like follow me, and I followed them. But the first thing they did, they opened up the double doors and we walked through a storage space, like a warehouse almost, with dead bodies as far as you could see.
oh
Oh
And
my
wow,
I'm
God.
walking in between the aisles and it's just toe tags all the way down
oh
until
wow,
we get to the autopsy. And it seemed like it never stopped. Like I had nightmares for months after
how
this.
bad? Wow,
It
that's
was it
wild.
was terrifying, but yeah, the guy taking us back there, he would stop at like every other body and be like, "Oh, this is Henry. We found him in a cab. He was in there for 3 days in 110-degree heat." And it's just like,
Jesus
Jesus
Christ.
Christ, like let's get on with this shit.
My God.
Anyway,
Another horrible death, right?
yeah, yeah. So it's another death song, whatever.
That's great.
There's a really good book. It was out a long time ago, but it's called Spook. And the author, every chapter is a different way that they use human cadavers, whether it be the first chapter is they're at a plastic surgery convention and they've all got a head in a like a roasting pan that they're gonna practice operating on, and they're just like, and it's written so well because it's like, but they use lilac tablecloths because it's like, horrify me, calm me, horrify me, calm me.
Yeah. So every chapter is about use of cadavers. Yeah. Interesting.
Crazy. But that's another really good one. I love that too. But your guitar work really runs the gamut. I know you talk about your four chord, chord economy, but you got some jangly lines and killer shredding solos. So do you use any modifications, pedals, toys, or other things to achieve your sound, or is it all au naturel?
No, I mean I use a real simple setup. I basically use two sounds when I play. I have a rhythm sound and a lead sound. And I basically, yeah, there's a couple pedals on my board that I use, but I have one switching pedal that I hit during the show, and I'm either at my rhythm sound or my lead sound. There's not much to it. I mean, it's really just a Gibson Les Paul Jr. double cutaway an old Marshall. Try to
That's
keep
a
it try to keep it as simple as possible. That's been a winning combination for 45 years, so we'll just keep going with that.
And what is your favorite guitar, sir?
Mine would probably be a Firebird, Gibson Firebird.
Wow.
Yeah, same as him, just old Marshall. I think that's just the best option available.
That's some heavy hitting there.
Very Leonard Skinner of him. I love it.
I was gonna say something about that. Yeah, yeah.
All right, should we do our game?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, so we play a game on the show. Let's see. So there's two of you, so we should maybe do. I have
Yes.
100 questions in front of me, so I want you both to pick three numbers between 1 and 100.
23, 32, and 50.
All right, you're up.
33, 62, and 9.
9. All right, we'll start with 23. If you could rename yourself, what name would you pick?
Is this for me?
I don't
Yeah.
know. It is
Yeah.
John.
Wow. Probably Elmer Emerald is what I would go with because um my great grandfather was named Elmer, and I don't remember where the emerald came from, but you know what? When I got older, my mom was like, we were gonna name you Elmer Emerald, and I'm like, why the fuck didn't you do that? Like, that'd have been the best stage name ever. Like, I
That
don't
is
know.
a really cool name. Yeah.
So I probably would have went with Elmer Emerald. Final answer.
Yeah, that's a good one. Gosh. Too bad I'm done having kids. I could have done that.
I mean,
Um,
there's also my poor name though, which is Lamont Tanglewood,
oh wow.
where you take what is it, the middle name and the street you grew up on
Yes.
is your poor name.
Oh yeah.
So my poor name is Lamont Tanglewood.
Okay.
See that up in lights too.
You can almost vote for Lamont Tanglewood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A vote for
Yeah, yeah.
Lamont Tanglewood is a vote for the country. All right, and he picked 32. Um, if if you have been to college, what was the first major you declared? Or if you haven't been, what do you think you would declare as your major?
Well, I first declared as a computer science major at Illinois State University. Um, and if I could go back in time, I would have not dropped out of computer science. Um, yeah, final answer on that. I would go back for computers.
Ah.
Yeah. What's
Not
the
that I
future in
like,
that?
not that I
Yeah.
like computers, but I do like money.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
There's a huge, huge surge in all that
Oh yeah.
Silicon Valley stuff and everything else. All right, and you picked 50. Have you ever bought something ridiculous just because it was on sale?
Um, no, no, not really. I mean, if I buy, I usually buy like vintage collectibles, music memorabilia, vintage collectibles and stuff like that. So or guitar equipment, of course. So if I see a vintage guitar that happens to be on sale, yes, I will buy it.
What are some of your favorite collectibles that you've acquired?
Some of my favorite collectibles, oh my God, I have so many. I love my autograph records. I have a huge autograph record collection. And, I have Little Richard, I have Keith Richards, I have Michael Schenker. Um,
Nice. Little Richard, that's great. Yeah. Wow.
yeah, I have I have Alice Cooper and I have four of the living guys from the original Alice Cooper band, which is really cool. I have some of the MC5 guys, of course. I got some of the New York Dolls guys. Um, yeah, my autographed stuff I really love.
That's cool. Yeah.
Have you ever had a funny story where something went wrong and you just should have stayed at home?
Damn, that's
I've had a lot of days like that,
Hmm.
involving mostly spilled coffee all over myself immediately.
yeah, I can't really think of one. So something that I would have rather stayed at home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a horrible day. You should have just stayed at home. Everything went wrong.
Like the day I was looking for a guitar player, maybe.
No.
Well, that was a phone call, so I
Okay.
can't
Oh.
avoid calls.
Right,
Plus,
right.
we would have met up in person.
All right, we won't put you on the spot too much. And you picked 62. If you could eat a dessert every day, which one would you pick?
Damn, that would probably for dessert, uh, probably be like carrot cake.
Oh, I love a good carrot cake.
Carrot cake. Wow.
I mean,
Wow. And it's kind of
I,
healthy
I
too. Yeah.
I don't really have a sweet tooth, but when I want like something sweet, that's my go-to. And of course, if I would be eating that every day, I'd probably be dead.
Wow. We've
Yeah.
never had a carrot caker in the band before. This is exciting.
It's very rock and roll. Very,
Yeah.
very
Wow.
no holds barred. Yeah.
Well, you'll know what to hit him in the face with later.
Well, he looks over the devil's food. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. You have any carrot cake? Yeah, give me
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I got to drive after this, So,
All right, and your last one. Have you ever tried to cook something and had it epically fail?
Mm. I mean, I cook a lot of like, so I'm very simple when it comes to cooking, just generally, the typical stuff like chicken or beef, but uh, I I'm sure it was one or the other, but I got I got a phone call and I got distracted, and then all of a sudden I turn around, there's like flames in my
yeah,
kitchen.
yeah, that
So
qualifies for sure.
yeah, that definitely. I was like, I think I was on the phone with my brother or something, and I noticed my voice like completely. I had never sound myself sound like that
What,
because
in the
I
panic, you
saw the
mean?
flame. Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
the
yeah.
flame and everything changed. My composure, everything. So yeah, it would
Yeah,
probably be that. That's only happened once, but it terrified me just seeing the
yeah.
flame. It was like this close to like the ceiling. I was like, man.
It's good to have siblings, right? Because like I talk to my brother still every couple of months, and we were talking about my mom was a really bad cook growing up, right? And at one point we talked about we got one of those slice-o-matic things that you can make French fries with, and I cut the fuck out of myself because in the early '80s they were terrible. So I ended up going to the hospital. I had to get stitches, right? And then another time we had hot grease and we set the curtains on fire. So after we talked about it for a while, we're like, we really just wanted French fries, like really bad, obviously. And my parents didn't pick up on it. We almost killed ourselves, but nobody ever got us some fucking French fries. So now you look back, you can see we were putting ourselves at risk and we just now figured it out. So,
What's your go-to for fries?
Air fryer.
well, now it's,
Air fryer is so good.
I'm talking like 1981,
I do a great. I cut them real thin, and of course we're Baltimore, so Old Bay goes on them and a little
Yeah.
olive oil there.
We're a two air fryer family. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I'll tell you what I can't do is a grill. I can really cook good in the kitchen. Every time I cook something on the grill, it's charred on the outside and raw on the inside. I don't know what I do.
Okay.
we were good at cooking everything else, though.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I need to stay away from the grill.
Yeah.
So you guys have a festival appearance coming up in February in San Antonio. So if you guys had a show rider, like you have to have all green M&Ms or, massage
No
girls,
brown M&Ms, it was.
what would be on it?
On a rider?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, we're really low maintenance. It's like, hey, keep the drinks coming and we're all good.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it. I mean, no one in the band really likes to eat before they play.
Yeah.
So maybe like some pizzas to go after the show would be great. Yeah, it just doesn't take much to keep us happy. I guess yeah, we're not a needy band.
Everybody's like, square ice cubes only. That's it. I'm out of here.
Right.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that.
I have to say, I like your Alice Cooper, Kane Roberts era shirt there. That's pretty cool. That's Constrictor, right?
It's a Constrictor tour shirt, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Kane, wasn't it?
That was Kane.
That was when
Yeah,
he was also doing like Saturday Night Mom zombie movie commentating too, right? Like
yes.
that was before he became so huge. He was like doing records and then he was also like doing just about anything horror he could get his hands on.
Yeah, I mean that was what, 86, so
Yeah.
it
Those were the
wasn't
lean years. Yeah.
it wasn't until like 90 91 when he came out with the Trash record.
That
I
was
would
Desmond Child. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it was. I
Yeah.
mean, so I would say like that's kind of more the era where he really started to
Yeah, what wasn't
to
that
blow up.
wasn't the Constrictor album like his first sober record? He came back, right?
Could have been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Could have been.
I don't
That's why he
know.
got Kane.
I tried to, I bought his autobiography and I didn't realize that half of it's about fucking golf. So I didn't read it at all. Because
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
don't know.
really? You've got more stories than anybody, and I got to read golf? No, you know.
I don't know when he got sober. It's been a while since I drank with him. So,
I usually hang out with Shep Gordon, actually. So, I
yeah.
mean, he's got a lot of good Alice stories for me, you know.
No, but
So, yeah.
didn't Guns N' Roses, didn't they cover Under My Wheels too?
Probably
I think it was on like the Decline of Western Civilization Part Two, I
did
thought.
they?
They did a cover of Under My Wheel, but that was, yeah, it was around that time Alice started like staging a comeback, you know?
Right.
Yeah. It's funny because we all agree that Desmond Child was like the Antichrist when it came to like 80s, you know. But I'll discover that he wrote a song that I liked. Like he wrote stuff on like some of the Aerosmith albums that I actually like before they tanked. And I'm like, I'm pissed retroactively. I'm like, fuck, I didn't know that was a Desmond Child song. God damn it, you know. Like he
It's
fooled even me, you know, like, yeah.
it's kind of like when you found out that Bryan Adams wrote War Machine by Kiss.
Yeah.
No, right.
Yeah,
Well,
I
they would
just
get anybody to write for them then. That was after the Elder. They were in the tank.
Yeah.
They needed something. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, it's funny
yeah.
because every time I hear a song that was written by him, I immediately think of Bon Jovi. There's like a Bon Jovi
Yeah.
similarity to all of his songs.
But if you
Right,
look
like
him up, he was on everything. Like he was in Kiss, he did Aerosmith, he did Bon Jovi. I think
Like Poison.
Bon
Like
Jovi
that
just started him.
yeah,
sounds
Yeah.
like Bon Jovi.
Poison by Alice Cooper. For like anything Desmond Child touched, he turned into Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, can you imagine the money he made? I mean, my God, you know, like he just the royalties, he must have just been, you know, you don't hear anything about him. It's not like he's you know, a big personality or anything, but I mean, he must have just kind of like Mutt Lang, he just took the money and ran, I guess, you know.
So what was the stake in the heart of Desmond Child? Like, I'm gonna have to look this up. Like, when did his career come to a screeching halt?
Probably
He was writing all that shitty Aerosmith stuff all through the 90s, and that was all
Yeah,
making
yeah,
probably the
yeah.
money.
90s.
So I don't, you know, I don't know. He's probably still writing soundtracks in Korea or something and
No, no,
making money, you
I
know.
feel like Kenny Loggins and Desmond Child disappeared at the same time, and I've never seen them together.
Oh, they're the same.
You might be onto
There's a
something.
They
conspiracy
could be
for
the
you
same thing.
right
And
there.
I've always said this is movies started sucking to me whenever Kenny Loggins stopped doing the music for the soundtracks.
Yeah.
Well, you know who
Like,
was supposed to write, you know who was supposed to write that main song for Top Gun was Judas Priest, and they turned it down. They
Oh yeah,
said
it was
they were like, yeah, fuck that. We're not going to make any money doing that. And then Kenny Loggins wrote the Top Gun song. Was it Danger Zone?
Yeah.
And
oh yeah.
then Priest, because they were, you know, they wanted to make up for it. They were like, well, we'll do this Johnny Be Good for this movie, and then that tanked, so they couldn't win.
I thought you
So
were gonna say they called Desmond Child
no, I don't think he did
to write a
Priest. I don't
song
think they
for
ever
them.
got that desperate. No,
Okay.
he had all the hair metal bands locked up and all the yeah.
yeah, so the song that was intended for Top Gun, it's off the Turbo record. It's the last song. It's called
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reckless. It's actually a really
Reckless,
really
yeah.
really
It
good.
sounds like a Top Gun song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like, well, who was giving them advice at that point? Because I mean, they've been around long enough. Like, who said, "Oh, Top Gun, give me a break. You're not gonna. This is a joke." I mean, like, where's that guy?
I'm sure if they would have just shown the flick to Rob before they asked him to do the song, he would have been all in.
Yep.
I mean, look at all the hot studs in that band. Give me a break. Like,
I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Maybe I'm
yeah.
wrong. I don't know.
You know, you never know. I mean, it was a different world, early '80s. Who knows, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, anyway.
So have you guys thought about a potential set list for the festival coming up or not yet?
No, we haven't. We've been busy working on the new record, so I don't know
Ah.
what we're gonna play for the festival. We'll probably incorporate songs from all the albums like we usually do in the set.
Wow.
Are you like on Ancestor.com trying to find some other serial killer you guys are related to for the next concept song?
No, the new album is written in its entirety. It's being tracked right now.
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
That's why he's over at my house right now.
Gotcha.
So yeah, trying to it's a dark album. It's pretty punishing in terms of tempos and stuff, it's fast and yeah, I think this is a darker album than the
Yeah.
rest.
There's definitely more variety.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome. Well, we are looking forward to that, and hopefully we'll lure you out to Baltimore one day, and
Yeah.
we'll be the ones in the front row going crazy.
Well, what are we gonna do? Holy Friolis or Auto Bar or
Auto
Sidebar?
Bar's still cool.
Auto bars
Auto
go.
Bar's still cool. There's a place called Metro Gallery that's really, really cool. Yeah.
I played at the Metro Gallery before.
Yeah, it's an art gallery. Plus what, about 150 people, something like that.
Yeah,
So it's kind of an intimate,
we saw
place.
Green Lung and Castle Rat. It was sold out there. That was nuts.
It's my it's
How was
it's
how
my
was
favorite
that
place to
Castle
go.
Rat show? Are they good live?
They're good. They do the whole. I mean,
Very theatrical.
Riley's great live, and she can really play. And of course, the whole theater thing where they have the girl come on and fight with her, and they do the blood and I mean, it's the whole thing.
Yeah, see, you don't
Yeah.
need Desmond Child anymore. You need an Instagram gimmick is what you need. So, and they
Yeah,
figured
right.
that out, So that's
That
what it
reminds
is.
me, I'm gonna have to follow Desmond Child on Instagram now.
I'm telling you, there's songs that you probably don't realize that he helped write, and you're gonna be like, I didn't know.
I wonder how many songs he's got in the vault. Because like a guy like him, yeah, he's got all those hits, but how many songs did he write that he's never used? When someone calls him to write a song, he probably just, goes to his hard drive on his computer and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, what do I got here? Here's 1,000 songs. Oh, this will work for them. I mean, right? I mean, that's
You
all he
probably got
fucking
him on
did.
like a Rolodex,
That's all he had to do. He spent every single day of his life writing songs. He's got to be sitting on a plethora of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to join the fan club and find out.
Falling on deaf ears.
Paid for the nightfall flavor. I didn't
Oh, yeah.
get a chance to look in there.
Gotta get that. Besides, you had $10 off.
They paid me for that, actually. Okay, deaf ears one.
This is Kid Kapichi with Fearless Nature. Change is often feared, but it can be a good thing. Moving to a new town offers a bit of tabula rasa, a chance to shake off old staleness, maybe find a new best friend, discover a swanky bar with pickle pretzels and extra cold beer. Hit the reset button hard enough that you wash everything you own. Lineup changes in a band work much the same way. They're pivotal moments, leaps of faith, and loaded with possibility.
Ice cold beer where they never have your first choice. Right? It's always, no, we don't have that. No, we don't have that. Third choice is usually. Anyway. Sorry. Anyway.
A fearless nature describes a personality that lacks hesitation, bold, independent, willing to take risks, and unafraid of discomfort in the name of growth. That mindset defines what these alt rockers out of Hastings, England are doing on their fourth full length. Across 11 tight, pop smart tracks in the 2 to 4 minute range, Fearless Nature captures both endings and beginnings. The album was recorded by the original lineup and serves as the final outing for departing guitarist Ben Beatham and drummer George McDonald. What remains is the core duo of vocalist and guitarist Jack Wilson and bassist Eddie Lewis, stepping fully into the driver's seat and steering the band's direction forward.
You think Jack Wilson ever listens to Jackie Wilson said it was really neat. I love the names this week. George McDonald, that's great. Anyway, okay. Sonically, Kid Kapichi live in that space where the Falls confrontational post-punk crashes into Royal Blood's danceable low-end punch with a little psychedelic furs mood floating around the edges. Add in that Mark E. Smith-style spoke song, slightly slurred vocal delivery, and you've got something that feels sharp, scrappy, and weirdly addictive. And yes, the fall, as seen on Jonathan's shirt in Stranger Things, cultural accuracy and continuity matters. And honestly, pulling anything from Ben Sinister would have made way more sense than leaning that hard on Kate Bush crap. Like Mark Smith couldn't have used that money for his medical bills. Anyway, I digress. Honestly, my immediate favorites were the ones you can absolutely break out your Pulp Fiction dance moves to. But then you get a track like Patience, which kind of sneaks up like a dark horse. It's a bit of a left turn, built around hooks, making for a chorus you'd swear you're not going to sing along to, and then you totally do at the top of your lungs driving home. It starts with George MacDonald laying down his swinging, triplet-based jazzy shuffle that draws you in. Jack Wilson's vocals are lighter, more sing-songy, a little fuzzed around the edges, with just enough distortion, and the lyrics are clever and cheeky in that painfully relatable way. Same old situations, the constant repetition. Yeah, I know I'm not that interesting, but Jesus Christ, this week is testing me. Ben Beatham's guitar work stays light and wandering, almost deliberately too lazy to noodle. Midway through, everything drops out except these echo-soaked vocals and a guitar line that's just sort of meanders, like it can't be bothered to rush. Then the drums tip back in, hi-hats engage, and before you know it, your foot's tapping along. You didn't plan for it, but here you are.
Intervention went straight into my favorites library on the very first listen. George MacDonald comes in hot with his tense, clipped drum line, quick, snappy, and almost panic button level urgent. Eddie Lewis's bass sounds like an electrical buzzsaw humming under the guitars, which themselves feel live and exposed, like they're carrying current. Jack Wilson is in full talk sing mode here, firing off lines at a pace that mirrors that anxious drum pattern. It feels breathless, like running to catch a train. One of my favorite moments is the contrast in the bridge, where Wilson suddenly stretches out and holds those notes before dropping the spoken line, "Do it anyway." And yes, that English accent cuts through beautifully. Then everything wakes back up into this wall of noise. The bass swings in, the guitar riff flares up and adds depth, and there's that slight guitar warble underneath, and the drums just keep driving forward. It's tense, messy, controlled chaos, and it absolutely rips. Let's play a clip. This is Intervention.
And all the conversations and all the words they say, well, it's too much to mention. Intervention, 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 interventing, intervention, 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 intravenous intervention.
Shoe size starts off slow and tense, like someone trying to tiptoe fast while wearing heavy shoes. The drums come in crisp and electric, cycling through a few solid thuds before snapping into the 3 quick strikes that lock in with a bouncy bass line that grabs you by the hips and insists you dirty dance. The guitars hang back as curious little sighs, floating around the edges of the mix. Jack Wilson is back in that rapid-fire talk-sing mode, firing off lyrics as bold as brass. I've been day drinking all night long, looking at the clock. Where has all the time gone? I've been shuffling, looking for the right song. The right song don't feel right with all the lights on.
The chorus is as infectious as a first-grade head cold, with drums hitting like a pep rally and chant-style vocals simultaneously clappy and chanty, but dark and gothy. The guitars start warbling like specters at a rave. Midway through, everything drops out except a nervous pulse stalked by a low-end throb. When the drums snap back in, they fall in their former retro pattern. The vocals pick up their fast, dancey delivery again, and suddenly it feels like finding the perfect vintage fringe jacket at Goodwill. Serendipitous, slightly ridiculous, but perfect fit. In a dead heat for favorite tracks are oddly enough 2 songs that couldn't be more different. The first is Stainless Steel. Right out of the gate, it kicks off with the slow guitar stutter, while higher notes float over the top like nervous static. Eddie Lewis's bass immediately gets to work, laying down a quick, springy line, soaked in reverb that drives a barrage of chromatic notes, surfing over jazzy shuffle drums. The whole thing carries the swagger of a James Bond opening sequence. Jack Wilson's verse delivery is snarky and spoken, loaded with grit. Are you scared of your fearless nature? Vitamin D and echinacea. Does it crawl up your spine like an 8-legged creature? Or does it dangle from above, waiting to greet you? Without the lunch lady, there'd be nobody to eat you. Sorry. When the chorus hits, the vocals turn layered and buttery until that line's "I'm made of blood, I'm made of bone" lands in clipped staccato bursts that instantly reminded me of that hollerback delivery in the Ting Tings' "That's Not My Name."
Throughout the verses, the guitars bleat in and out over the percussive pulse that keeps the track at high blood pressure pace. Midway through, everything drops into this lighter, almost pink-hued interlude that slowly mutates into a guitar line, sounding like a distant ambulance siren wailing out a warning. Wilson's clip delivery here veers into something that feels almost like a British rap. A single drum tap builds it back up into that rhythmic stomp, leading into a few final chorus reprises before the song slams into a screeching stop on the word blood. The other gem sharing that top spot is the more moody and introspective Worst Kept Secret. George MacDonald locks into this groovy backbeat built around two rapid snare strikes, followed by a kick drum slam, looping hypnotically. Over that, the guitar wiggles out a jangly melody and something that sounds like a bow being drawn across the string instrument. Eddie Lewis's bass stays low and rumbly, adding just enough movement to make the whole thing wobble like jello on a dashboard and rumbling your subwoofer. When the chorus hits, those violin sighs and Jack Wilson practically croons in stacked vocal layers. The drums patter underneath with that steady highway at night feeling, and suddenly the whole song feels soundtrack ready.
Lines like, I know you give it to me, psycho, we're just falling about my mind, land heavy, but floaty at the same time. Wilson has said this album was more about introspection, seeing your reflection in the window instead of what's outside, and that idea really comes through here. End of a long-term relationship energy, sleepless nights, feeling slightly unhinged, maybe a few late-night Taco Bell bad decisions. They were clearly going through it. In the bridge, the layered vocals lift a notch in tone, but those drums and waterlogged guitar notes stay constant, anchoring everything. Wilson gently carries the final chorus, repeating it in a way that honestly could have gone on forever, and I wouldn't have complained. Instead, the song fades out in the pulsing drum pattern that suddenly just ceases to beat. Change happens, or we grow moss and cobwebs. It's rarely comfortable, but it often signals the start of something new. Jack Wilson put it best when he said, I personally was going through some of the darkest times of my life, and listening back now, I hear that fear, but it's also comforting to know how quickly things can change once again for the better. That sentiment sits right at the heart of fearless nature. The beat goes on, and so does Kid Kapichi, with longtime drum tech Miles Gill stepping in behind the kid on stage, and a chance reconnection with old friend Lee Martin bringing exactly the energy needed to fill Ben's shoes. The band recalibrated.
Fearless means facing uncertainty without flinching, taking the leap, even when the ground isn't fully in view. So go make that move. Start the next chapter. Just maybe not Seattle. Too much rain and Xanax. What matters most here is intention. Half the band stepped away because they couldn't commit to the grind of full-time touring, while the remaining two wanted everything that comes with it. That full throttle commitment bleeds through every track. You can hear it in the energy, the precision, the confidence. This is a band carrying the torch and striking a fresh flame.
Okay, let's play a song. This is Stainless Steel.
I'm not made of stainless steel. I'm made of blood. I'm made of bone. No one said it wouldn't hurt. Scratching around for recognition with your fingers in the dirt. It could be better, it could be worse. But when your time's done, we all end up as food for the worms. Are you scared of your fearless nature?
Deaf Ears 2 is the new album from Denial of Life, the Witness the Power EP. I was so excited when I heard the new EP from this Tacoma 4-piece. It brought back a flood of memories from the original heyday of 80s thrash that I was lucky enough to be a part of. I'll share some for you. Number one, your uniform was a band shirt and jeans. If the jeans tore, you continued to wear them. You would never shred them intentionally unless you were like a poser like that Def Leppard guy. Two, enormous heavy white high tops were to be worn at all times. Reebok was the preferred brand, but Nike and Adidas were also acceptable as long as they were so white people could spot you from the parking lot across the street. One band logo per shoe could be written in Sharpie.
3. Car. Did not matter if you had a cool Mustang or a Valera station wagon. The important thing was that the windows were always down and you pulled into the school parking lot playing Dark Angel at stadium level volume. 4. Records were to be played once and then filed away. Taped onto high bias cassettes after running the music through your equalizer, which of course was always in the full scooped position, cutting out all the mid-range frequencies so that the album sounded like Possessed beyond the gates. 5. Because magazines like Circus and Hit Parader sucked and were full of nothing but poser bands, the secret to new music was whatever Kirk Hammett or Jeff Hanneman's shirts dictated for you to buy.
I'm sure none of these commandments would be any surprise to the members of Denial of Life. It's obvious, listening to this new EP, that they've cut their teeth on stuff like Classic Slayer and Prime Anthrax. From Logan Miller's riffs and harmonies that are tritonalicious, yeah, that's trademark, so I want a quarter from you if you say it, to the overkill-friendly gang barks in the chorus, to Brenna Gowen's strong yet abrasive shouts and screams, these four party like it's 1987 all over again. Let's hear a little. This is God's favorite, Slave to the Blade.
Late night, work to the bone. No time for sleep, job's not done. Everything you got, it's come easy. A scrape and a fight just for what I need.
The odds of me digging a track called Circle the Drain. It's even money, people, and this one doesn't disappoint. The main riff is meaty and full of crunch, perfect for shaking crusty manes and chains. Another quarter, thanks. Drummer Nick Cody rolls out punchy double bass punishment and a fabulous snare pop while Gowen's vocals are full of metal sneer, yet every venomous word is clear as a bell. Love Sting kicks off with a very effective and somewhat retro-sounding clean intro, definitely Blue Oyster Cult adjacent, with hooky interlaced melodies that really show off his six-string prowess. The song pushes into heavy momentum with fabulous sounding guitar harmonies layered against Gowen's hard scream motorcycle fantasy lyrics for one of the most potent performances on the disc.
Sure, they may have gotten my attention with skulls and pentagrams, but Denial of Life are able to keep it with their galloping nod to the bitchin' years when guitars were pointy and mullets were not a crime. Also, don't forget you owe me 50 cents. So let's play a clip. This is Circle the Drain. Okay, the final Deaf Ears for this week is the new album from Cardboard that's just called Cardboard. So I was so impressed by this latest full length from the London-based four-piece, I decided to give our fans a different type of review. I've been making it too easy for all of you to decipher our little write-ups by peppering them with band name drops. Not only is that lazy writing, but it's also short circuits the process where you absorb the review and make up your own mind about the artist. So I'm not going to give you any indication of who they recall or who they sound like, as you need to do some of the work yourself. This charming man has written about 1,600 reviews at this point, and as this is our final review for the week, that means you get 2 weeks after this to enjoy this one until Big Mouth strikes again.
One could say, what difference does it make where they're from? But I submit there is a sophistication at work here that somehow dictated these guys must be from the UK from the very first listen. And the combination of quirkiness and grit woven into this mix is remarkable. It even brightened my Monday commute to work, particularly the chiming guitars and popping drums of Pipe Dream, demonstrating the two-guitar tandem of Daniel Hacker and Chris Clapham possess talent beyond their years. Love the way the gets fall away in this one, so the stout bass of Louis Bultitude pins the rhythm down so succinctly. And heaven knows I'm miserable on my way into work, particularly on a Monday when it's been below freezing all week. Let's hear a little of the snappy little gem. Let's play a clip. This is Pipe Dream.
Was he your cup of tea, or was he just another one of you? Say it's a pipe dream, and I know it could go.
quirk never stops with this one. Even the titles are interesting and quickly piqued my curiosity. Well, I wonder what a song called Paper Airplanes could sound like, and it may be my favorite here. Again, the interplay between Multitude's bass and the guitars, which are masterfully coaxed, slashed, and chimed in this track to marvelous effect. It's been a long time since I heard a song and kept singing it, even when I know it's over.
The closer Lost and Found is so full of hooks and melancholy, it's a sound that can only describe with one word, and stop me if you've heard this before, but jangle-tastic has to be the word for it. The guitars here get a little louder and grungier as the track plays on, but that crisp melodic guitar against the burbling bass line sounds like it could have come from a band that formed in 1982, as opposed to the modern era.
At any rate, get over to the Bandcamp page and grab a copy of this exciting debut. It looks like the vinyl is still available, and I may try to snag one of those cool red shirts myself. Hey, I don't owe you anything at this point, but frankly, Mr. Shankly, you'd look great in one of their work jackets for only 12 pounds plus shipping. Look, I was afraid I'd started something I couldn't finish, but I did. Let's close it out with Lost and Found.
On the corner of this long night out, and all these people, they're now friends of mine. So I tried to leave here so I could get some peace of mind.
Emissions jokes. Those 84 lanes are all closed. You're going to have to go on this one. Why? Why do you have them? And how would you know when to go when they're open?
They're really cheap.
Do they have like a busy season when they're open?
This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Special thanks for the Oxys for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme courtesy of Jens Kemgren of the Firebombs. Deaf Ears theme by Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. Season 4 artwork courtesy of KC Angel. Deaf Ears band include Kid Kapichi, Cardboard, and Denial of Life. All content 2026. The Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
All right, I got the thing you said. What hole do I stick it up now?
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.